in there and we'll find it. All right. So, what it is and what it isn't, the light and the cracks. It's making space, it's letting the truth in, and it's letting emotion move. And when you become aware, right? It's not fixing everything immediately, becoming positive overnight, or filling the space right away. Once you empty that space and you let all that stuff out, you got to let it sit for a minute because that's where all the processing, that's where all the really important stuff comes in. A lot of people want to ignore that, and that's where you feel vulnerable. That's where you feel yucky. That's where self sabotage wants to push you back into what feels comfortable, what feels safe. And unfortunately, when you've had a life full of trauma and grief and all those kind of things, that space, uh, that chaos is what feels safe, right? Even it's what you know to be safe. That doesn't mean that it is safe, but it's the only safe that you've ever known. So when you learn to find that and understand that, yeah, it feels different because I was looking for different. I wanted different. I've been learning this much of me to receive different. Well, I can't receive different if I keep going back to the same, right? So when you learn that and you start understanding that that space, that uncomfortable, that yucky, it's not to scare you or make you self sabotage. It's just to allow you to say, yeah, it feels uncomfortable. But if I sit there, what else can I let go? What else can I make room for? What else is coming along the way? And it changes how you look at things and it allows you to see, well, I don't want that. I don't like that chaos. And I don't want to be around people that treat me this way. And I don't want this. And it allows you to see all of the things that you don't want. And when you start to recognize it, you start understanding that if you don't want all those negative things, you start to trust that I'm worthy. I'm worthy of these good things and all these things. And that worth starts to change how everything changes in your life. Platform won't share your content. Ah, that makes sense. All right. And then just because space is created, it doesn't mean it needs to be filled immediately. Give it time, enjoy that space, get clear on what you want to fill it with. And there will be stages because at first, the first little bit when it's uncomfortable, you'd be like, I just want kindness. I just want something nice. I just want this. And you don't really know how to get clear on what it is. And yes, you do want those things, but then you get it and you get it in a little different way or something. You're like, well, I really don't kind of want it that way. And it allows you the time to process and get really clear on what you're asking for. And when we start understanding from that perspective, it creates a lot of change, right? It changes um, how you ask for what you want, how you see what you want, and it allows you to tell the difference, right? And you're creating your own form of discernment. Um, Basically, the emotion is data, right? And that's what I was teaching back in the fire and flow. So when we understand it like that, um, what do we notice now that your heart's open, now that you see that vulnerable side? And it's not about showing it to the world, it's about what you notice, right? Where does it feel lighter, right? Because as much as it feels raw and sensitive, there's a space where it doesn't feel so heavy anymore. Where is that? What is it about that that feels lighter? Can you pinpoint it? Even if you can't just yet, that's okay. Give it time. But can you, right? Can you start asking those questions and get curious about it? Where does it feel raw? Because there's going to be many, many spaces in those cracks where it feels raw. Because that's vulnerability. That's where that kindness has actually dug so deep because you haven't had it that it hurts. And that's a scary moment. But when you can recognize where it feels raw and why, what are you creating? You're creating empowerment, information. You're allowing yourself to recognize where it hurts because usually it actually physically hurts in your body, right? And when you can recognize those things, you can actually make small changes, little ones. We're not taking things away. We're doing little add-ons. We're changing. We're celebrating those little things, right? And when we can notice it, awareness is key. It doesn't. It's not about perfection. It's about saying, "Oh yeah, I recognize that. It feels uncomfortable, but I remember if I just sat through that for a little minute, uh, it's going to tell me something. And if I listen and I start acting on what it's telling me, it's going to feel better and it will go away and it will go away for good because it starts integrating. You can't change the parts of you. I'm going to give a small story, for example. My, and it took me a long time because, so for me, I have certain core beliefs that are never going to change. Um, so when those things happen, so like when you give your loyalty and honesty and integrity, and those are like my three bottom lines. They cannot change. And I tried with everything in me to uh, meet in the middle on these things with the people close in my life or the people that I let in close. They weren't doing the same things, and they weren't living their life that way, and then expected me to always show up with with the way I believed integrity and stuff. And it always ended up with me getting hurt, things happening, me losing things for them to get a step ahead. And I would get mad, and then when I would get mad and I would try to speak it out, then it was a punishment on me. Like, how am I? Uh, I'm wrong for advocating for myself, basically. But then it would turn into a cycle of fear, guilt, shame, all those things, because I felt bad, like I was doing something wrong. But the bottom line was, the people that are telling you you're doing something wrong, these things, wanting the, loyalty, integrity, honesty, those are things that um, should never heal out of you. Those are your core beliefs. So there's going to be times in life where people just don't align, right? They're not going to align because that's not a core belief for them. That's not something that they believe in. So it's not a hate or an anger, but if those things don't align, there's always going to be friction, right? It's just understanding that. So when you start understanding that that doesn't align, that doesn't mean I hate you, I want bad for you. It just means I know that this matters to me so much more that I can't ever give a little bit. There's a but, like that line cannot cross. Um, and when those things start to happen, you're saying, we can't hang out, we can't be friends, we can't, whatever. I wish you the best, but it always ends up this, and I can't have that. And when you start saying that, you recognize those things, right? Those thoughts that come in, they allow you to discern. Doesn't mean I hate those people. It means that their morals, their code of ethics, their things that they believe don't align with mine. So are we going to hang out and do things that always end up hindering mine because I stand for something different? Why would I put myself in that situation? It's got nothing to do with that. It's like me self protecting, right? Those are the thoughts that are coming into your head because your worth is starting to go up. Your worth was always up, but your understanding of your worth. And that's the idea. When we understand and we can sit with those things and process and see and understand the difference, we see, okay, I believe that I'm worth more than this. I believe that I'm worth more than giving into my morals, my code of ethics for somebody else to please somebody else. You start to process that. And when you start discerning that, that's when you truly can see, yes, I am changing. I believe that I'm worth this. Um, that's the emotion, that's the data. These are the things that those cracks, that raw part, those vulnerabilities are meant to show you, right? And yeah, I got you. I seen that. I'm starting to understand now. It's only when I have to focus too much and I'm like, wait, what? I'm slow sometimes, but I will get it together eventually. So you just can't let light in without also seeing what was hidden, right? For it to be released and let go through those same cracks that the light's going in, that light is pushing all that darkness out. And it's not pushing it out to be ignored, it's pushing it out for you to see it, to understand it, to process it so that it goes. My own support channel, my main.